Before we begin, if you're enjoying this content, please subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. For Allied combatants during the Second World War, it was the sound of absolute terror. A metallic crack so rapid it seemed to tear fabric, a noise that earned it the nickname Hitler's Saw, with a cyclic cadence exceeding 200 rounds per minute. It was the fastest single-barrel machine gun of the conflict. Its design was so advanced, and its manufacturing philosophy so effective, that its direct descendant, the MG3, remains in service with modern armies to this day. The MG42 machine gun was far more than just a weapon. It was a watershed moment in military engineering, a machine that transformed infantry tactics and redefined how armaments could be produced at industrial scale. The creation of the MG42 was driven by the brilliant failure of its predecessor. The German MG34 was a revolutionary weapon, the world's first true general-purpose machine gun. It was highly versatile, exceptionally accurate, and exquisitely manufactured. However, it was also a masterpiece of peacetime engineering, a complex machine of milled steel that was too slow and expensive to produce for a nation engaged in total war. As Germany plunged into a multi-front conflict, the need for a faster and more economical replacement ceased to be a manufacturing concern and became a matter of strategic survival. In 1939, a competition was launched to design this new weapon. The winning entry came not from a traditional manufacturer, but from a small company called Metall- und Lackwarenfabrik Johannes Grossfuss, which specialized in stamped and pressed metal parts. Its lead designer was Werner Gruner. Gruner had no interest in creating another mechanical work of art like the MG34. His goal was industrial efficiency. He and his team stripped down the MG34 to its essential elements, discarding complex milled components and replacing them with parts that could be rapidly produced from stamped metal sheets and simple welds. The vision was a machine gun that could be mass-produced on an unprecedented scale by semi-skilled labor. The result was a weapon that could be built in approximately half the time and at a fraction of the cost of the MG34. The engineering philosophy behind the MG42 was brutal wartime pragmatism. Its most radical innovation was its construction. The receiver was no longer a complex block of milled steel. Instead, it was formed from pressed, folded, and welded sheet metal. Stamped components, previously reserved for non-critical parts, became the foundation of the weapon. At its mechanical core was a short recoil roller-locked action, simple, durable, and remarkably effective. When a round was fired, the barrel and bolt recoiled together. Two steel rollers locked the bolt head into the barrel extension, absorbing the force of the shot. As the assembly moved rearward, angled cam surfaces forced the rollers inward, unlocking the bolt and allowing the action to cycle at extraordinary speed. The MG42 was chambered in Germany's standard 7.92 57mm Mauser cartridge, a full-power rifle round, firing a 198-grain bullet at nearly 2,500 feet per second. It delivered devastating firepower with an effective range exceeding 1,000 meters. This high rate of fire, however, generated immense heat. The solution was a brilliantly simple quick-change barrel system. By flipping a latch on the side of the receiver, a soldier could slide out an overheated barrel and replace it with a fresh one in seconds, keeping the weapon in action almost indefinitely. First deployed in 1942, the MG42's impact was immediate and terrifying. It saw widespread use with the Afrika Korps in North Africa and in the brutal urban combat of the Eastern Front. Its staggering rate of fire gave German infantry squads a level of suppressive fire that few Allied units could match. Unlike Allied machine guns, which were fired in short, controlled bursts. German doctrine taught gunners to use long, sweeping bursts, known as firestorms, creating a wide, beaten zone that made it nearly impossible for enemy soldiers to advance. Allied intelligence reports soon filled with accounts of this terrifying new weapon. U.S. Army training films were produced specifically to address the psychological shock of the so-called Buzzsaw, instructing soldiers to dive for cover upon hearing its distinctive sound. On European battlefields, the MG42 confronted the established machine gun doctrines of the Allied powers, primarily the American Browning M1919, the British Bren, and the Soviet DP-27. The Browning M1919 was a weapon of an earlier era, heavy, tripod-mounted, with a methodical rate of fire of 400 to 600 rounds per minute. It was exceptionally reliable, but lacked mobility. The British Bren was a masterpiece of precision and control, but its top-mounted 30-round magazine severely limited its practical rate of fire. The Soviet DP-27 was built for simplicity and mass production, with a large 47-round magazine, but this was heavy and slow to reload. This created a stark clash of philosophies. The Allies saw the machine gun as a specialized support weapon. The Germans, with the MG42, had perfected the general-purpose machine gun, light enough to be carried by one man and used on a bipod in assault, yet capable of being mounted on a heavy tripod for sustained long-range defensive fire. No weapon of the Second World War is more defined by its sound. The MG42 was a psychological weapon in its own right. Its rate of fire was so extreme that the human ear could no longer distinguish individual shots. Instead, it produced a terrifying high-pitched buzz, unlike anything else on the battlefield. Over time, the MG42 came to embody the entire tactical philosophy of the German infantry squad. While other squads were built around the rifleman, the German squad now existed to support the machine gun. The gunner became the most important man in the squad. The MG42's greatest strength and its most serious logistical weakness were one and the same: its extraordinary rate of fire. At 200 rounds per minute, the weapon consumed ammunition at an astonishing pace. A single German gunner could expend a 250-round belt in approximately 12 seconds of continuous fire. The high rate of fire also had a direct mechanical consequence in the form of extreme barrel wear. The intense heat and pressure rapidly eroded the barrel's rifling. This made the quick-change barrel system not a convenience, but a necessity. Though the Third Reich was destroyed, the MG42's design proved too effective to disappear. In the post-war period, the blueprints and surviving examples were studied by engineers around the world. The United States directly copied its stamped steel construction and belt feed mechanism for the M60 machine gun. The Swiss developed the MG51, the Spanish produced the Alpha M44, and the Yugoslavians created the M53. But the MG42's most direct legacy emerged in the country that created it. When West Germany was re-established and admitted to NATO in the 1950s, its new armed forces, the Bundeswehr, needed a modern machine gun. After testing numerous designs, they reached a striking conclusion. The best option available was still the MG42. The weapon was rechambered for the new 7.62 51mm NATO cartridge. Its rate of fire was slightly reduced to a more manageable 900 rounds per minute, and it was redesignated the MG3. This modernized version became the standard machine gun of the German army, adopted by dozens of NATO and Allied nations. Few weapons in history are defined by their sound. The MG42 was one of them. That terrifying noise was the audible signature of a manufacturing revolution, a weapon that became the tactical centerpiece of the German army and the benchmark for machine gun design for the next 75 years. The MG42 stands as the ultimate proof that a truly revolutionary design can outlive the very ideology it was created to serve. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, leave your like, and share with your friends interested in military history.